as well at the time, wasn't there?
Yeah, well, I got a phone call in the summer. Hi, Harry, it's Harry. And I thought, which Harry? And it turned out to be Harry Redknapp now. Most people know Harry. He's a very good talker. He's very charismatic. And he sold me the club really well. He told me he was getting in a whole new team. He already contracted 9 players. I was number 10. And we started that season with only one player from the team from the season before, and the rest were all new or from other places. But it gelled from the first go, more or less. In the preseason, we didn't do too well yet, but he stayed really positive and he gelled really well. And obviously, Portsmouth have got a very good fan base. It's sort of a very isolated town. Most of the town is surrounded by sea, so most people are, there's not many Man U or Southampton fans in Portsmouth. So it's very it's a really sort of close knit town, and there's a really good support. It's not a very big stadium, but it's usually full, and they keep singing the whole game and support the team, and it helped us along the way, I have to say.
Yeah, and you got your time back in the Premier League. You were given the captaincy in the Premier League, weren't you?
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
Which were initially, it looked like I wouldn't even start in the Premiership. Harry was maybe thinking I wasn't good enough. Well, I never played at that level, so he got other 2 other centre halves in, and I started as a left back because somebody was injured. But during pre-season, I made sure I got my squad place. Started as left back, then had a go at centre half, and then he decided I was good enough. And obviously, I got the captaincy album later on.
Must have been a big thing for you in your career to obviously you've been captain at Wigan a few times and through that season, but captain of a Premier League side, that must have been a big tick in the box.
Yeah, that's for a player. I think it's a big honour. If you're the captain of a team, you're looked at as somebody that leads by example, that presents the club in a positive manner, and presents the players in a positive manner. And if people see you in that way, that's a big compliment.
Your time at Portsmouth from outside of the club, Portsmouth fans loved you. I think you got the Player of the Year down there as well. From people outside of Portsmouth, your time in the Premier League and your time at Portsmouth is probably remembered for one thing: the incident with Hadji Diouf.
Mm.
Talk us through it and what your sort of feelings were when that was going on.
Well, we were in a very difficult spell with Portsmouth where Redknapp had left. We had a sort of intermediate manager who didn't speak the language and struggled to get his points across. He made me the captain and sort of relied upon me to lead the team. I scored. We were 1-0 up at Bolton Wanderers, and we really needed to win that game. And Diouf sort of dribbled into the box, and as soon as somebody got near him, he fell over trying to get a penalty. So I told him he should work in a theatre, stop being an arsehole, something like that. And nothing happened. I walked away, and all of a sudden, I feel like somebody's behind me. I look around, and I get spat full in my face by him. I don't know why really. I wasn't mean or anything to him. I just told him he'd rather work in a theatre. And it took me by surprise, completely by surprise. And I needed a couple of seconds to think about what happened. And then obviously I wanted to rip his head off his shoulders. But while I was sort of on my way towards him, I thought, this is exactly what he wants. He wants me to get sent off. I'm not going to get sent off by that fool because we need to win this game. So I obviously made a point to the referee. He hadn't seen it. There was a bit of commotion, but I couldn't really smack him in the face after that because that would mean I would get sent off. So after the game, somebody of the BBC approached me and said, "Well, what happened there?" So I told him, and he made sure they got sort of clipped out and shown on TV. That was probably the best thing that happened, because I got loads and loads of letters of Bolton fans who were apologising for the behaviour of one of their players, and they were ashamed of his actions, which was quite surprising. And even 2 or 3 years later, I was at Schiphol Airport, and I got approached by a guy who turned out to be a teacher, Irish school. And he said, I use you as an example to show that violence doesn't have to be answered with violence all the time. So I thought, hang on a minute. If this comes out of something bad like that, then it's fine by me.
Yeah, I think it, as I say, it's probably the moment everyone outside of the clubs you've played for remember, but it highlights how tough player, but good human being that you are, because I think most players would have reacted differently in that instance. And so,
I have to be honest, Adam. When we played Bolton at home, 3 or 4 players of my team said, "Don't worry, you don't have to hit him. We'll do it for you." So I had 3 or 4 players of my team that said if he touches the ball, he's up in the air. He got taken off as well at that game, so that worked out fine by me.
Worked out well.
The referee already warned me. Listen, I know what you're going to do. Don't do it, and all that. So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll come to something similar to that shortly. Obviously, in different circumstances. Your time at Portsmouth comes to an end with a fallout with the manager. Probably again the best thing for us, because you come back to Wigan for the measly fee of £90,000. So I think £90,000 spent for the 2 spells that you had at the club was tremendous. But we're in the Premier League at this point, so you still under Paul Jewell, of course. So we're now in the Premier League. Was it a simple decision to come back?
In a way, it was, because the manager who got the job at Portsmouth, we didn't see eye to eye. That's the first time I sort of had a spat with the manager, but he was just. He wasn't truthful. He would say one thing and do something else, and I confronted him with that, and he didn't appreciate that. And I wasn't used to that kind of behavior. I never had managers that would go right and then turn out to go left. It actually didn't work at all with the team as well. But he had other things in mind, and he didn't see me as a starting player, which is obviously a manager's decision. But Paul Jewell sort of informed, listen, if you're not going to get games there, we're very interested.